Welcome to Young and Finch, the podcast created by Korean millennials. Alright guys, welcome back to episode 17. I'm your host with the most, Brian. And beside me, I got my colleagues Josh and Andrew. And today we're going to talk about our careers and what we learned so far from working and contributing to society. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, let's just jump in.
Yes, sir. Wait, we're your colleagues? What?
Or my boys.
Colleagues?
I thought we were friends, bro.
I thought we were homies, bro.
Oh my
Damn.
God. All right,
They do us like that, eh?
I gotta rethink.
Alright, I'm out. Peace.
Alright, let me redo it. What's going on, everybody?
So career goals.
Maybe we could start
guess
with
it's
a little bit of context.
Yeah, sure. So I can start.
Yeah.
So when I graduated, I actually worked in the data analytics field for around 2.5 years.
Wait, where did you graduate from? What program?
I graduated from mathematics, and the school I will reveal at 500 followers.
So degree in mathematics.
I think the thing is, like, some people might kind of guess based on like the things I tell them.
Some people already guessed.
Yeah,
Do you
some people
remember?
already guessed.
If
Yeah,
they
yeah.
recognize your voice, they probably know who you are.
Not people that know us personally. I'm just saying, like,
People
based
who
on
know
like
of
the
the
things we
school and
said.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
our podcasts. Some people like figured it out, but
Yeah.
I won't dox myself, and I'll leave it later when we have 500 followers. So keep those follows coming.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, yeah, I graduated from mathematics. I worked in the analytics field for 2.5 years ish, and I decided to transfer to software development, software engineering, because I thought that was like a really hot field. I think in the past maybe 5-6 years, it's been really growing, exponentially.
Yeah.
Right? There's like articles where there's more demand than supply, so I thought it'd be a really good time for me to switch over to that career. So starting January, I started my job as a software developer for a bank. But yeah, that's
Nice.
Let's go.
my career so far. So far so good. I'm really
So
enjoying
far,
it.
so good.
How about
So
you
far,
guys?
so good.
How about Josh? Let's go with Josh first.
Sure. Graduated uni in a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. Not currently working in mechanical. Like I mentioned in the last episode, I took some time off in between, but I've been working in renewable engineering for the past couple of years. But yeah, it's basically my life. What about
Has
you,
it been a
Brian?
couple years already?
It's been a couple of years.
Damn. Fucking time flew by, dude.
I don't know.
I remember when you used to be grinding at, that shop.
Yeah, bro. We'll touch on that today.
Yeah. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in medical radiation science. A lot of people probably are not aware of that, but it's like a specialty field that you work in healthcare. So right now I'm working as a X-ray technologist at a hospital.
Yeah.
Nice. So first question going into this topic, did you guys know what you wanted to be before you graduated high school? Or did you just kind of go into, let's say, engineering or math or radiology just because?
Yeah. That's a good point. I could start. At end of high school, I mean, I knew I wanted to do something that had a stable career. I didn't know exactly what. Engineering was definitely my perspective. And the reason I went with mechanical was actually because it's the most general engineering. I personally, I think so. And doing my research back then, I was like, yeah, with mechanical, you can literally go into almost any sort of field or discipline. So that's why I chose mechanical. But now after completing, I'm like, interests have changed, and it's definitely not the ideal degree or background that I would have chosen now. But
Really?
yeah, like things change, right? But I don't regret it. It is a general field, so I think it's nice. It's like a solid foundation. But
why is it a general field though? Because you graduated out of mechanical engineering, so isn't
So,
that
like,
more specific?
yeah, like I mean, like it's a pretty general in that like mechanical engineers can go into like a bunch of different industries. But
Yeah.
having graduated from it, like typically you'll go into something like manufacturing or design, for like hardware and stuff like that. But having done it, it's not something I'm necessarily interested in. So
Yeah, I think engineering is easy to go into a lot of different fields, like Josh
yeah,
said. But obviously, each engineering areas, like mechanical or let's say software or like chemical, have their own specialties.
yeah,
That's why they tend to go into those, like manufacturing, or if it was chemical, it'd be like processing or whatever.
yeah,
But I think it's easy to switch to, like, let's say software if you're in chemical, if you just put in a little bit of work,
yeah.
because you have that base engineering status, you could
Exactly.
say.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's what
Definitely.
Josh is trying to say.
True. For me, I'm in a very similar boat. I didn't know what I wanted to do after I graduated.
Yeah.
So I just kind of approached the job safety route, I guess. But I did want it to be somewhat related to the science field.
Yeah.
I think that was like one of my stronger subjects back in high school.
Really, I thought it would have been math.
Nah, I was okay at math, but I don't think I was as good as like you guys or you or like the other Korean person that we had in our
Like
friend group.
like
Yeah.
Asians.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
okay, but I wasn't like great.
True.
Academically, definitely. Like, I don't think I had enough to become like a doctor or whatever.
Hey, I think you
I mean,
could have.
If you try,
Maybe.
I believe.
yeah.
Not that I'm older though. Like, it's more interesting to focus and study on things that you actually like care about. I don't want to just
Definitely.
be a doctor
Yeah, that's true.
because you make good amount of money
Or the
whatever.
title.
Yeah.
Or the title.
Yeah.
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 Definitely.
But it's all good. I like my job. It pays you well. You work with patients, and it's more purpose driven, I guess. So far, it hasn't been that bad.
True.
Yeah.
I guess one question then I have is, if I think we touched upon this question, which is, if you could change what you could study in university, what would it be?
Like go back.
Yeah, not go back in like when you're like in high school, but just a subject that you could, if you were to change
Yeah.
to study something, what would it be?
What would it be for you?
Me?
Yeah. Would it be software? Like, cause
Yeah, it'd be
that's what you
probably
transitioned
computer
into?
science or software engineering,
Mhm.
because I honestly like what I'm doing right now, because there's so
Yeah.
much things to learn and it's so applicable to life. Something that I enjoy. Yeah, I just enjoy it. So I
Yeah.
would probably study computer science or software engineering if I could go back.
Hmm.
Yeah. How about you
Mm.
guys?
Brian?
I would go. I would do business.
Business.
General business, or like something like finance or
Yeah.
accounting?
I'd probably
or-
do like accounting or finance.
Really?
But I mean, it's easier to say now, like looking from the outside. But I don't really know what it's like. I don't really know what it's like to actually work in that field. Like, probably you'd have to deal with a lot of like snobby like businessmen and shit like that. But I don't know. I think it'd be an interesting field.
I have a question for you, Brian.
What?
How much do you think someone that graduated from finance would make in their first job?
Like after a bachelor?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like entry level?
like
Yeah.
55,000.
Okay, that's a pretty good ballpark. Shit. I was expecting like 70K maybe, because like if you hear finance, I think people just associate it like, they should make a lot
Well, it
of
depends
money,
on
but
what company you go in, isn't it? If
That's
you-
true too, yeah.
No, but usually like entry level jobs, they pay you like shit, like 50, 40, 48 maybe. I even saw like 45.
I think that's pretty standard all throughout, Like even for engineering, I think generally the average for, at least for my like graduating year at the time, was like 55 to 60, I think.
Yeah. It's surprising how little they get paid once after, even if they get a pretty good degree.
But there's a lot of room for growth though in business, in it. Like you move on to like
Oh yeah, for sure.
career to career.
Yeah.
Your scale jumps like crazy. That's from my
Yeah,
understanding.
yeah. It is for sure. It's just, yeah, I guess, yeah, you're right. But that, yeah, I don't know what I'm saying.
But I don't
Sure.
know. I don't know if I would. I could probably do business now, anyways. It's like, I don't know. I kind of want to learn like the skills from there and there, like marketing or like accounting. Just have like just these amount of general knowledge that I can like use for later on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, you can always add to your current knowledge. You can always get some
Yeah.
certification, some licensing and stuff
Yeah.
like that to add to
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
honestly, like school gets you so far. You gotta like learn it on something,
yeah,
learning a certificate or learning on the job.
Yeah.
exactly.
So yeah, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
For me, I think I would probably actually I didn't mind mechanical. Like I said, mechanical you kind of go over everything like material science to building science to energy, and then you obviously touch on all like the fundamentals and stuff like that. But I think if I could change, maybe I would have changed to civil,
Really?
because I do like working with buildings, and building science is kind of the direction I'm trying to go to now. But again, in hindsight, like I don't know if I changed too much because mechanical, you can also go towards that direction via mechanical engineering bachelor as well. So I think what's more so important was the actual direction, not in terms of, like not the actual degree, but knowing what direction I wanted to go. I think that was the important part.
Mm.
Right.
So to that, like, did you guys have career or trajectory defining moments? Like at like a certain point, maybe in the past, couple years of working or during university, guys were like, okay, like now it's clear, like this is something I want to do, or this is not what I want to do. I want to change my direction. Did you guys have those kinds of moments?
I did, and that was actually the recent change.
Recent one? Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. So I was going through interviews to stay in data analytics, but for more of a tech company. I work for an insurance company,
Yeah.
and kind of going through a lot of interviews and failing, I decided to bolster my resume by studying certificates. And once I completed those, I was thinking how I can showcase it to potential employers. So I decided to like make a website, and through that I learned computer science fundamentals, just different type of frameworks to make applications and whatnot. And kind of studying it on my own made me realize it's not that hard. Like it's not that difficult to learn. Of course, you have to put in the hours and into learning how to code, right? Pretty much. But before I started, I had the idea that coding is only for smart people. Unless you study it in university, it's kind of hard to get into. Like I just had that bias.
Didn't you also have like some pretty good groundwork though? Like with your background, you had like you weren't starting from scratch. You already knew like a couple languages and like the basic framework and stuff like that.
Yeah, I did a little bit of coding prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
It did definitely help in helping me learn. But again, like I learned that before, like by myself before.
Yeah, sure.
So it was all self-taught.
Yeah.
Yeah, so after realizing that I could do it and anyone could do it if they just put in the work, and that motivated me to actually like put in the work and grind and just reach out to different employers, and ultimately I got the job. And yeah, I think now that I'm enjoying it a lot more than my previous job, and it's a really good field to be in.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
am gonna continue and just grow upon what I have so far. So that's just that's how I got into it pretty much.
I think software and like coding is one of those rare fields and like career paths that like anyone can do if, like you said, they put in the hours, they put in the time to learn it. You know what I mean? Like there's so many like workshops and boot camps and stuff that can get you started to learning basic codes to get you set up to work in like UX UI or just like development and stuff. Like it's a solid field for sure.
But yeah, to your point, or adding on to your point, it's honestly like there's people that are gonna like it and hate it.
Yeah.
For not just coding, for anything. And what you said about if they put in the work, you could learn it. That goes for anything, I think. No, I honestly believe that if you put in the work, you could do anything. But I think the thing that I want to specify is coding specifically is a very tangible thing that you could see. So what I mean by that is if you do put in the work, you'll see the results I want to say faster than maybe other things.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. But like us, there are a lot of careers that you need so many prerequisites that you can't just change into it. For instance, like Brian said, like going into, well, actually, medical school is one of those things you can do. Actually, you can go from any background as well, but some like a lot more specialized fields, you have to have certain types of educational requirements and stuff like that. You can't just opt into it at
Right.
28, right? Something like architecture or going into engineering, you can't just do it. You need the degree, you need the experience and stuff like that,
That's
right?
true.
So, but with like something like software, it's like there's so many, like a lot of people are doing career switches because it's such a good field and such a great industry, right? People are dropping their science and business job and going right into, you know, developing and stuff like that. It's good.
It's a lot easier for software too because the community is so well built and there's so many people in your shoes
That's true.
and there's so many online resources out there that that's why I'm trying to say it's a lot easier for someone to switch into software.
Yeah.
Because all those resources are available too.
Not to say that it's easy by any means, but
no, it's definitely not easy.
It's accessible.
How about for people that are listening from the outside? Like, what do you do specifically in your job?
See out, hello world.
Yeah, I pretty much like hack the world system, government.
What literally like drew you in?
What drew me in? Yeah, that's a good question. Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously the perspective of growth, right? I consider myself an entry level software developer, still like trying to learn my ins and outs.
Yeah.
And the trajectory that the growth software industry provides is really good. Like the pay is really good. But just like, I don't know, I really enjoy working with people like me or that are motivated and wanting to learn and just pushing each other.
Yeah.
So like the community itself is also what drew me into it. But like if I'm being honest, the money.
Yeah.
Money's
Is
like
it
first and foremost.
is it highly competitive though? Is there a lot of people that are trying to get better? Like would you be able to be like further like you know, grow your career? Or is it very competitive?
Yeah, so there's a lot of supply and there's a lot of demand, but not a lot of supply to match that demand. But if you're trying to break into the industry, it is difficult because you just need to get that first step in to really like start growing. But that barrier to entry is hard to get into because you have no experience, because you have only yourself, like your projects to rely on and talk about. Especially like new grads that maybe study something else, not computer science, and are trying to break into software without any experience. It is gonna be hard.
Yeah.
Like if you're looking, like let's say you're an employer and looking in and you're interviewing, like who are you gonna obviously choose, right?
Yeah. How do you know?
Someone with experience and someone with a degree in computer science, or someone in like, I don't know, some random degree, not computer science, and that don't have.
Or like doesn't have a portfolio or things like that.
Like if you obviously show that you want to be a software developer, right, and you show that you're willing to learn and put in the hours, then I think anyone is willing to give you a chance. But it's just you have to put in that work. That's what I mean. It's hard to put in that work.
Yeah.
And you have to put in that work plus pass the interview, which is another hard part. So
Yeah.
it's
And someone has to throw you a bone. Someone has to take the risk and be like, all right, we'll take this guy who doesn't have any background. We'll give him a chance.
Exactly.
I think in that same vein, I think that's why like those boot camps and those workshops are really valuable, because not only do they teach you, but they give you the tools to set up your own portfolio and get started on that, so that you're not going into an interview empty-handed. You know what I mean? Like you're going in with something substantial.
Yeah, it's a lot more structured.
Yeah.
But for me, it was like self-taught, so I had to like build my own schedule, you know, reach out to people that I could find on my own kind of thing.
Yeah.
But obviously, I spent like a small, tiny fraction of what a boot camp costs. Like boot camp costs so much these days.
Yeah, they are expensive. They're definitely not the best option.
It's crazy.
How much are they?
Oh, they can
They're
go from like 3 to maybe like 15,000. Like some of the good ones are like fairly expensive. Well, I mean, compare that to an undergrad degree though. It's like you're still saving money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
But yeah, that's why if I could study again, I would go to computer science because I would have an earlier start, right?
Yeah.
But but going back to that point, I'm not really like, I don't regret what I studied in university. So
Yeah.
Sure.
yeah.
Brian, what about you?
What was the question?
It
Do you have
was,
any career or
like
trajectory
groundbreaking.
defining moments during uni or during work?
Well, for me, my program is specialized, right? So I don't really have like much options. I kind of already knew what I was gonna do after I
Like your
graduated.
path was set.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But like I've been working in this field for like a few years now, and I've been through multiple different like facilities, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I've met with a lot of bosses, I've met with a lot of doctors and things like that. So one thing I know for sure is that I'm probably gonna eventually start up my own business.
Yeah.
Yeah, my goal is to make a lot of good connections at the hospital right now, and then maybe when I'm like, early 40s or something like that, I'll start my own business. But
So like next year. Sorry.
if I can, yeah, maybe.
You should make a LinkedIn.
Yeah. So
Wait, you don't have a LinkedIn?
I don't.
Oh
I
my
don't.
god. Who is this boomer?
Boomer detected.
But
That's
like,
the best.
what-
that's
what-
the best for connections.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah, people are telling me to make it. I should
should.
probably get on that. Yeah.
Make
You
it.
should. You should definitely make it.
Yeah.
It's also like fun to stalk other people on their careers.
Yeah.
I do that.
And then it shows up. Andrew viewed your profile. They're like, "Hey, what are you looking at?"
Nah. There's a setting where you can make it private.
That's for premium only, though. You have premium?
No. So what happens is you can't see other people looking into your profile,
Oh, I see.
but
I
they
see.
can't see.
True.
Yeah.
That's
so
true,
I
that's
don't mind people looking at my
It's
profile.
like it's like fucking Facebook, isn't it? But for professional people, like
Exactly.
Yeah,
Professional work, yeah.
that's exactly it.
But yeah.
true. Yeah, so yeah,
True.
I just kind of knew what I was going into, so I just prepared for that. But you learn as you go. Like I worked at different clinics. I worked under different bosses and different people, and
Yeah.
you just kind of take the good things and the bad things, and you just kind of build your career like that. Set up for the future.
So you are happy with your career and you just want to build upon it, right?
Right now, I'm pretty satisfied. I just started at this new
Okay.
place, new hospital, and it's by far the best place I've ever worked at so far. Like before this place, I was pretty like miserable because
Yeah, I remember that.
I didn't like. I was like, is this what my career is, and like, is this what I'm gonna have to deal with my whole life?
Yeah.
Not because of the work. I'd say it was just because of like
The environment.
the environment and the external factors and things like that. But
Yeah.
now that I have like a pretty good job and like the people I work with are great, the work I do I like. It's sometimes tiring because I am walking, I am on my feet a lot. But
Yeah.
when I'm driving home, like I feel good. Like I don't hate it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Don't hate it. That's a good threshold. If like I think people are always talking about like loving what you do and like if you're not loving what you do you're failing and stuff. And it's like, well, for the most part I think once you do anything that's work you're never gonna fully love it, but
Yeah.
I think the point, like what you said exactly, like like it's good, it's solid, you're leaving work not hating it. I think
Yeah.
that's a pretty good
Yeah.
gig so far, you know what I mean, like no
Yeah.
complaints, right?
Yeah.
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 Man, like I didn't realize how important environment was, the work environment.
Huge.
Like
Yeah, it's
working with
huge.
people your age,
Yeah.
or just not even your age, people that you could connect to
Mm-hmm.
in general. Because I would say I was pretty miserable at my last job too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I couldn't really be myself at work, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was very difficult to do anything besides work at work. But now it's
but like you've grown a lot since then too, right? Like
That
like, when
too,
you
yeah.
when you first start working, you're like, you think the world is just like a beautiful, like peaceful, like place where everyone and works hard and shit. But as
Yeah.
you get older,
So you're saying you're jaded?
yeah, you become jaded. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys know what I mean.
I'm jaded.
No, I still think the world's a beautiful place.
It is. There's a lot of people, but you're not as naive to like some of the things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any, Josh, that you had?
Yeah, so for me it was actually during uni. My engineering program had internships and stuff, so that was nice because you're able to actually get some real world experience while learning. And like I mentioned earlier, coming from a background where I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, I didn't even fully understand mechanical engineering when I first got in. I was like, I still don't really know what it is. the internships were nice because it gave me a chance to try out different fields and figure out what I liked and what I didn't like, right? So then, trying different things like manufacturing, healthcare, and then building and stuff like that. It was at those internship moments that I realized, what I enjoyed doing and what I definitely didn't want to do, and shit like that. And so I think that point, it kind of set me on a trajectory as to, okay, if I'm going to graduate with this degree and if I want to go into this certain direction, what do I need to do in the next 5 years and the next 10 years to get there, right? And part of that included getting a master's degree. Part of that included trying out different fields and stuff. And now it's kind of led to a point where the direction and the trajectory is just more clear, like I have a plan of attack. I'm thinking about what different licenses and certificates or whatever that I need to get in order to get to a position where I can be spearheaded towards that direction. And so that was kind of the point for me. And even though like that's always changing, and I'm still not 100% sure exactly what like the final end career goal is, I think the direction is half the battle, right? Like the general direction and knowing how to navigate to get to that point, I think that's half of it.
Yeah, I agree.
So that was a pretty important, and it's still happening. It's still going.
Yeah, definitely like figuring out what you want to do for your future.
Yeah.
Is super difficult to figure out, especially in university.
Yeah.
Because that's not the main thing you want to focus on when you're in school, right?
You just want to pass, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Man, like if I could change another thing that I could is maybe use the internships more so as something that I want to do for the future, because I don't think I took it personally, I didn't take it seriously.
It was like a break.
It was just, I thought of it as a break, literally.
Yeah, from the stories I heard, Josh, bro, man, you were talking about free co-op, bro.
Yeah, I was just
Andrew something else.
I literally thought of co-op as breaks from school because for me school was so tough, and working in the city wasn't really work. It was just 9 to 5, and after 5 I'm just gonna chill.
Yeah.
But I should have definitely taken that as what am I gonna learn in that span of time.
True. Yeah. Hey man, you guys are blessed, man. At least you guys got paid. I had to do fucking like almost a year of free fucking service.
Work. Yeah, that's true.
Because I had to do my clinical placement.
But not everyone gets paid, right? Some people, like a lot of people, with this like low, like the economy's not too good, or there's like low demand for internships and stuff like that. People end up doing like like free research positions at schools and shit.
Really?
Like,
oh
yeah.
Damn, I didn't know that.
And then they have to like pay rent, and they're like just chilling at school for another whatever. So
Gotta do what you gotta do, right?
yeah,
it's a tough world, man.
So I guess in your careers right now, what drives you the most to make you do well or pushes you to do well? For me, I think it's definitely money, first of all. And second is actually just the learning aspect. My job requires you to learn literally every day.
machine learn. Sorry.
Machine learn? Python.
What?
What the? I'll give you Python.
Yeah, it's the money and the learning aspect. I love learning, especially if it's something that of interest to me. If it's not something interesting to me, I don't give a flying beep.
What the?
No, but
beep? Sorry.
but yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie and hide around the bushes.
No, for sure.
It's definitely money.
Yeah.
And another thing is actually my peers that I work with inside the industry. They push me so much to like they push me naturally because they're so interested and they're willing to learn as well. And me seeing that, it's like it motivates me. So it's like a cycle, going back and forth. So that is really it's helping me a lot. And I talked about this thing called the 3 pillars of work. I think I mentioned it to Josh and Brian.
That was like the first episode, I think.
Yeah, maybe I mentioned it in the first episode. But if you have good peers, so like environment, you have a good growing opportunity. So it could be financially, or it could be like your status within the company or whatever. And then third, if you have a good work-life balance, I don't think there's a reason to leave. Or obviously, if you get paid more on another job offer, then take that. But I'm just saying, like, if you have those three pillars, then
You're good.
I think it's a good workplace and it'll make you happy, right?
Yeah.
So
That's true.
For me, I have right now all those three, so I'm pretty satisfied. But yeah, what kind of drives you guys to, push you in your careers?
Yeah, so like between like all the different types of like values and stuff like that people attribute to work and careers and stuff, I think a big one for me is work fulfillment, right? And part of that has to do with, like Andrew said, learning, growing in my career as well as like my professional experience. But I think part of that also has to do with like what type of work am I doing and what am I contributing to? I'm going to be spending 9 hours a day, 5 days a week for the next who knows how many years, right? Like, what am I really contributing to? And I think to me, like, that's important. Being in the renewable energy industry is good. And that's something that I've always kind of valued, like being not, yeah, like kind of being cognizant of what type of work I'm participating in, right? And, even in the future, I talked about like long-term goals and like directions and stuff, right? Like even like if I do want to go into buildings and stuff like that, I want to be working with, making sure that buildings are efficient and, that the energy usage is, optimized and that it's sustainable. Like those are the types of things that I value in terms of my career. And so that's a huge part, feeling like that kind of fulfillment and knowing that what I'm doing is good and honest work. Like that's really important to me. But at the same time, like Andrew said, to an extent, money is important too. Like I want to be making sure that I'm growing financially. I'm growing in terms of in that avenue as well. And so that plays a part, but it's definitely not my huge my priority.
Right.
True.
Yeah.
For me, the thing is like in terms of like growth, there's not much growth in when you work in healthcare. You kind of do the same shit every day, kind of thing.
Yeah.
How
But I
about in
guess,
terms of like how you see yourself in the future? I guess you want to get a business.
yeah, that's not my future goal. But
True.
I think what I think is like the main difference from like you guys working in corporate is like we actually have to deal with people and people's health
Yeah.
and things
Which
like
is
that,
huge.
which is huge because
Yeah.
Yeah.
so for me like as like cheesy and cliche as it sounds, like my purpose of being a healthcare is to provide and be of help to other people, like no matter how small my job may be compared to like doctors or whatever. Like they still have to come through us, and I'm partially responsible for their care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. The money is definitely a factor too, but it's not as important as to the work that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And like if that's how I die, and like I'd be happy to die like that, knowing that I did my part in helping out other people. And I think that's a bigger purpose than just the money factor itself.
Yeah. So it's a similar thing. It's like about the fulfillment of the work, right?
Yeah, for sure, fulfillment. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like, being in the healthcare, you're a service worker. You're providing a service to people, right? And that's essential, to say the least.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, like I work to help people. Like I've seen the most amazing people like working in healthcare. Like I'm not even remotely close
Yeah.
to like some of the people that that I encountered with. And there are times, obviously, I'm not
Yeah.
a fucking saint or anything, where I do get fed up with some people, and my integrity of work is not all the time, but I don't know, man. I think it's great for me that I get to be part of this.
Yeah.
I get to be something bigger than just myself.
So does that drive you?
It drives me because every day I wake up and
And you're walking down the street?
yeah, I'm driving to the hospital, and
Yeah.
it sets your tone like my attitude straight, you know.
I think it's different because like it's good,
Yeah.
and I
You would
completely understand where you're
understand.
coming from, and I think we don't get that not client facing, but that human interaction, right? With Andrew, he's dealing with companies. Using the example of a building scientist, right? We're not talking to the occupants of the building. We're not talking to the people who are actually using the building and who it affects. We're talking to the building owners, and we're talking to like the the contractors and the consultants and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
we lack that human interaction, the human aspect in our work fields, which I think it's incredible.
That's normal. That's normal though. That's why business people are known to be more selfish and colder.
Snakes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, snakes. It's just what it is.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree.
Not that I have anything wrong with you, because I think every job is required for the economy to run.
For sure.
Like
It's
you
just
can't
different.
solely live off just people working healthcare. Like we
Yeah.
need people working corporate office, that are providing economy for the country and things like that.
Yeah. It's just a different environment.
It's just different values. Everyone has different values, right?
Yeah, that's why for me, I think money is first and foremost the most like biggest factor for me, right? Because like I said, to be honest, like I don't really care if my company makes money or not, right? Because I'm such a small piece of the puzzle,
Yeah.
and like what I do isn't that impactful to anyone, right? But like for Brian, it might save someone's life, right? If they find something. And
But doesn't it bug you, the fact that you have to do all this work, but then the CEO is making, like, he's the one that's getting the most out of your action?
no, because
That's what I hated about working at the clinic.
yeah, I get your point, but that's what a job is, right? They pay you to do something, and it goes both ways. Where if they fire you, they fire you, but you could leave whenever you want.
True.
Obviously, with 2 weeks notice, but yeah. So, anyways, I guess do you guys have any career tips? Brian, you're in the health space. Josh, you're in the engineering space. I'm in the software space. I guess I kind of touch upon what, like, especially for software, but like, let's say someone's trying to break into the healthcare space or the engineering space.
Yeah.
Like, any tips, any interview preparation help, like resume tips?
Yeah. Like this is good for like recent grads too, right? Or
Yeah.
people who may be transferring jobs.
Yeah, one thing I would say is have a 1-page resume. That's super, super big.
One-page
Yeah.
resume and one-page cover letter.
I would say the same for engineering. I think typically a lot of engineering students will overdo it and they'll talk about all the system optimizations and throw up all the KPIs they improved and shit. But I think at the end of the day, when you're graduating, even if you have substantial internship experience, your resume should not be exceeding 1 page. You can fit it all, so fit it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And definitely, if you're not in an internship program, look for it while you're in school.
Definitely.
And I'm right now currently interviewing internships for our team, and I see a lot of like these kids these days are so ambitious.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I'm just gonna say, if you're not matching everyone's ambitiousness,
It's ambition.
ambition,
Oh, no.
Ambitiousness?
ambition, ambition. Anyways,
Very vicious.
yeah. So try to stand out from other candidates, which is very cliche, I know, but
How,
Like-
Andrew? How do they stand out? How do they separate themselves?
Bro, you can't fake passion, bro. If you're not passionate about it, then
Yeah.
you're just not gonna be as excited.
Fake passion?
Exactly.
That's fashion. What?
what the?
For sure. Sorry.
No, I don't know about engineering or healthcare, but in software, definitely show some side projects and definitely show the passion, or not even, it doesn't have, passion may be too strong, just show the interest that you're willing to learn and willing to do the work.
Yeah.
If you show that on a resume, you'll get an interview. Like, it's just hard to do that. I know it is, but you just gotta do it. It's like there's no way other around it. Like when I first heard that, I'm like, shit. I'm pretty lazy myself, and when people tell me you gotta just show the work and do it, I'm like, fuck. Like I don't want to do
Yeah.
it, but literally, like there's no other way.
Yeah. That's true.
So how about you guys?
Brian?
I would say that if you're in high school, Because I know a lot of people that went into general like life science program and things like that, and they graduate and they don't have a job, and they're $40,000 in debt. And I know way too many people like that. But obviously, people go into life science, health side to go into med school and things like that. But I don't know. I think it might be interesting if you go into like a undergrad program like mine, where you do have like a backup plan.
Yeah.
Because you can still apply for med school with any undergrad. So if you don't get into med school, then at least you have something to fall back on. Because I see a lot of people, like at work, like at the hospital right now, we have students, right, that literally just went through what I explained, and they just wasted 4 years of their life, and they have to do another 3 years in school to get into X-ray. So why not just skip all that and just have like a safety net if you don't get into med school?
Because you can always go back. You can always try going into med school with any undergrad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then at least if you don't get it, at least you have like a skill that you could fall back on and still get a job, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super important. There's a lot of, such a bad way of saying it, but quote unquote useless degrees where like, and that's what I'm saying, quote unquote. It's not very useful and
it's not very practical in the real world.
Yeah, it's not very practical. Like, friggin', I don't know, anthropology, for example, like philosophy.
Well, I mean, they all
those are all programs that you could study on your own. You don't have to get a degree for it. If you're really interested, I think you should just like search it online first, and not pay like 30,000 student debt.
We own. Andrew's opinion. We own.
No, like that's
I would say look into the market to see if there's actually job available before you get in there.
Like there are jobs, but how likely it is for you to land a job with that degree will vary.
Yeah.
Yeah, and plus the amount of money you'll be getting with that degree isn't gonna be the best.
Like you can't argue
you're gonna be struggling. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say like don't go into it if you're
passionate.
I'm trying to just protect our viewers.
100%. Yeah, for sure.
Because like, we've seen people that graduated with those degrees and are still jobless, you know?
Yeah.
And then it sucks.
And not to target, but I think science is a huge one, right? There's like I know a lot of people back in uni that graduated with a bachelor's of science, just plain flat out, right? And there's not a whole lot of things you can do practically aside from research or like education.
Yeah.
Just pure science, right? So you either need to supplement that with like a science business degree, or you need to like build up some practical skills on the side separately.
Yeah.
Or try really hard to get into med school. So get your ass off the phone, get your ass off Instagram and TikTok, and hit them books.
Use Young and Finch as a study break, but other than that, back to studying.
Yeah,
boys and girls.
If you got exams coming up, it's okay. We could wait a couple of weeks to listen to our episodes. But
I'm just gonna say, if you're willing to struggle with that degree, then go, by all means, go for it. If it's your passion, go for it. But you're gonna struggle.
Yeah.
You're gonna be tight on money. But again, if it's your passion, what can I say?
Yeah.
What can anyone say?
I mean, because there are people that have approached that route and did go into med school and did have become doctors and things like that too, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not talking about med school in particular. I'm just saying like just in general.
But like it's
just general.
It differs for every case, but I think I stand with my point. If you do not get into med school, then at least you'll have
something to fall back on,
ultrasound or X-ray or something like that to fall back on. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. So don't rush into picking your careers, guys. Really think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I would take that seriously when you're in high school.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Get into internships. Yeah, like you said, we don't
really know.
No one listens to these kind of things in high school or university, so it's kind of hard to instill that. But I think we could still try and say, look for internships and look for opportunities where you can, and if you can, do it. If you're lazy, that's fine.
Yeah,
you'll learn it the hard way, like us. But
you'll get your ass whooped, and then you'll be like, "Fuck! I wish I started harder."
And that's fine too, right? Learning the hard way.
Definitely.
So,
with regards to engineering, like I think it's a little different because if you're like me and you're not sure what you want to do, I some things I would recommend are just figure that out as soon as you can. And if that means trying different internships, if that means taking different electives, to really branch out while you can in school, while you have that safety net, I would say do it. And once you figure that out, I would say really cater your skill set and your resume, all those things to suit that industry and that field. Talk to seniors, talk to professors and stuff like that. With most engineering faculties, like the support system is very well developed because the school will fund engineering departments heavily. So utilize your resources, take advantage of that, pick up any additional software skill sets that you can. And then in terms of the resume and the interview prep and stuff, like what's important, no matter how technical your role is, you have to be able to convey your skill sets and convey what you're able to bring to the table effectively and,
efficiently.
Effectively. And again, that applies to most industries and most interviews. But I think especially with engineering, there's a lot of candidates that, are heavily technically skilled, but they aren't able to convey that. And that results in a lot of missed opportunity for some engineering students. I think work on your soft skill sets, work on being able to strongly and effectively, present yourself and sell yourself. I think it's a little bit, don't be shy to boost yourself a little bit, to say like, yeah, I'm proficient in this and these are my skill sets. This is what I'm strong at and this is what I can bring to the company. And that's why I'm a great candidate for this position. Things like that. You have to really be confident. That's something that I would say for engineers.
Yeah, maybe we could do a mock interview when we reveal our faces.
Yeah, if you guys want to have any additional questions and stuff like that, always DM us.
Yeah.
Last thing. Always negotiate salary. Please, no matter what industry you're in, always negotiate salary. Don't settle for what they give you at the beginning.
Yeah, maybe we could do that too.
Yeah.
In the future. Future ideas. DM us if you're interested. We're always listening and reading
Yes, sir.
your comments. But yeah, I think the whole premise is just to put in the work, right? Put in the work in, marketing yourself, put in the work to actually do the projects, put in the work to showcase that you're interested.
Yeah.
And it's, to those out there that are like me and are lazy and that don't want to hear this, I mean, I'm sorry to break it to you, but that's just the way it is.
That ain't gonna
in
cut
this
it.
life. You gotta work hard, play hard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Sorry.
I think people put a lot of pressure to figure things out before they finish graduating or before they start work or even after they start their first job. But I think, again, like we're not that far ahead in our careers to be able to share tons of wisdom or things or experience. But I do think that take some of the pressure off. Try to make sure that you figure things out right is something that I would like to leave off with this episode. Take the time to really make sure that you're gonna be investing your time and energy in something that you love doing.
Yeah.
Or at least enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
With that being said, okay.
Yeah, so work hard, play hard, guys. And we hope to, just DM us any personal career changes you had or interesting things that you had in your careers.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I mean, like, you guys don't know us, but if we're able to be like an older brother figure or like alum figure, like if you have any questions related to our industries and stuff like that where we can maybe shine some light or help you guys out, don't be shy. We'll do everything that we can to help out.
Yes, sir.
Brian, any last words?
No matter what happens, like you'll always figure something out. Whenever you're stuck in a rut, you'll always figure something out. I think that's just part of everyone's career life. So, if you're not happy, just figure out other ways to, like what Andrew did. He took his, certificates. Josh is, taking his certificates, and it's just inevitable part of life. I think that
Definitely.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is, when there's obstacles, just go through it.
Yeah, I guess that's
Just do it.
Yeah.
a simpler way of saying it. Yeah.
True. That's good.
Take advantage of downtime, like especially with COVID and stuff. Like so many, like the job market and the economy is so shit right now. Like take this time not to, I mean, yeah, like improve yourself, improve your life and things like that, and make sure that you're like financially and safe and all that stuff. But take this time to improve your education and your skill sets for when the job market opens up or when there's opportunities. Don't sell drugs, guys. Don't sell drugs.
And stay in school.
On that note, that's gonna do it for this one.
Thank you for listening. Keep the DMs coming. Let us know what your queries are.
Yeah. Thanks for all the support, guys.
500 followers on Instagram, and we will show Josh's six-pack.
What the fuck?
Josh, better hit the gym now, bro.
Yeah, let me just sculpt out a six-pack, bro.
It's okay. We'll just add your face in like the rock spot or something.
I'm down.
All right, guys.
All right.
Thank you for listening, and hope you have a fantastic week.
See you guys next time.
Peace.
Later.
Wait. Last words.
That I just asked you.
Whoopsie. I just thought of one.
Okay. Just chop it in
Okay.
after.
What is? Just put it in.
Oh.
I'll say it again.
Last words. On advice.
So,
how
wait,
about-
hey, Brian. So, Brian, last words.
Any last thoughts?